everybody, and thanks for joining us. I have Dr. Guy Parsons today, who is a clinician, researcher, and global health leader with a deep expertise in clinical AI. He's currently leading efforts to build safe, scalable AI systems for healthcare, drawing from his experiences in medicine, research at Oxford, and health systems transformation in industry. Dr. Parsons also brings a unique blend of frontline experience and strategic insight to the world of AI in medicine. Hi, Dr. Parsons. How are you doing today?
I'm great, thank you. Thanks so much for inviting me. It's a real pleasure to be here.
Great. I'm also delighted to have you on the board. Yeah, so let's begin with our topic today. Dr. Parsons, what would your ideal vision of a clinician plus AI care team look like in everyday practice?
I think that's a tough one. I
Yeah,
think many organizations, many doctors, many developers are engaged in that topic. I
yeah,
think it's particularly interesting because it's not just about what a clinician could achieve independently or what an AI system could achieve independently. It's about that idea of synergy, of collaboration between the two.
absolutely.
There's mountains of literature on human team performance.
Yeah,
But I think when it comes to clinicians working with AI, I think our understanding of that's really in its infancy. I think there is so much to be explored about how we can work effectively with AI and what that means for the future of healthcare. I think it's fascinating. I guess if I was to sort of pinpoint some things that I would want that team to do,
yeah,
I think there's real power there for a proactive healthcare system where AI is operating somewhat in the background,
hmm,
synthesizing different data sources, identifying patterns before symptoms emerge, before illnesses progress. So I think
absolutely.
it could help us be more proactive.
Yeah,
The other, I guess, real ambition there is about precision, because as you
right.
know, we're very used to medical treatments, medical management being drawn from population level evidence that often is one size fits all. I
Yeah,
think sometimes we need a bit more precision, a bit more understanding of specific patient groups, specific diseases and how they're affecting individuals. I think we can gain a lot from applying AI in that space to really personalize medicine.
for sure.
And I guess the final thing I'd want, if
Hmm.
this is my checklist of ambitions here, so it's greedy,
Yeah,
but I think I would really like to see more humane healthcare. And what I mean
absolutely.
by that is more of a space for the humanity to come through. We're we're all very familiar with clinicians being rushed off their feet and bombarded in administration, and often the time to care seems
Hmm.
to fall behind a little
Yeah,
bit. So if we can prioritize the elements of the day that a clinician can be more human,
yeah.
that's a real ambition I have for that kind of collaboration.
I think it all makes very sense to me as well as clinician, and you are deadly spot on there. Totally. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you here. I think more human touch will definitely add, and if AI can help in terms of having that background checks, which we are sometimes not able to do in frontline, and we are rushed, that will
Yeah,
definitely enhance
absolutely.
patient experience as well, isn't it? Well, that's
Yeah,
great.
I mean,
Thanks.
if we just quickly, I'll draw an analogy
Yeah.
with oncology, with cancer care,
Hmm.
because it's extremely difficult for physicians of all specialties, but particularly in such research-heavy specialties like oncology,
Yeah.
for clinicians to stay up to date, to know exactly what's happening all through the
Right.
literature. And I think there's utility there in having systems that synthesize those insights so that the clinicians can easily draw upon what's the latest and greatest management. But you still need the humanity in that conversation with the patient to go, well, these are your options. What works for you? And how do we understand your particular outlook? So I think that's where the two can work together.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. I think that's the best synergy which a human clinician can have with AI in present situation, isn't it? Moving on,
Mhm.
what do you see as the next big opportunity for AI in healthcare?
Oh, these don't get easier, these questions. Okay. So I think there's two. I mean, there's
Yeah.
many, but the two
Uh-huh.
that stand out to
Yeah.
me, the first is personalization.
Yeah.
So I think
Correct.
this is underused. I
Yeah.
think AI can personalize the patient's experience of healthcare,
Yeah.
and that can range from things like giving them more continuity across fragmented healthcare systems. It can improve their health literacy. It can explain medical conditions to them in a way that they understand rather than the way that doctors might explain something. So I
Absolutely.
think that personalization is there for patients, but also for clinicians.
Yeah.
We have strengths and weaknesses too. We might forget to do some things or inadequately review some things and need prompting, needs a guide, an advisor that can point us in the right direction, that understands our proclivities. I think that level of personalization of support for clinicians could be really useful.
Yeah.
The the other real big opportunity that I see
Hmm.
is all about orchestration. So
Correct.
time and time and time again, I hear people with direct experience of healthcare systems
Yeah.
talking about how difficult it is to navigate, how the information that they tell to one center doesn't find its way through to a subsequent appointment or a
Yeah.
scan that's happening in a different place. That makes no sense. We should have connected healthcare systems,
Hmm.
ones that it doesn't mind which place you went to before or which doctor you saw before. Your information, your understanding should move with you. And we should have systems that bring healthcare to the patient where they are. So that's in the community, the majority of the time, that's at home. So, how
Makes
can
sense.
we orchestrate healthcare using AI to take advantage of things like digital biomarkers, that the fact that most people are on their smartphones multiple times a day? How can we deliver
Right.
care into the community, meet the patients where they are? That's an
Yeah.
opportunity that I really see for the future.
I totally agree with you. I think it's a great opportunity with such a robust tool at hand in terms of AI, which can bring healthcare to the doorstep of the patients rather patients coming to the doorsteps of healthcare. And I totally agree with you. I think there is a huge opportunity there in that space. Plus, I also feel that we as clinicians have almost 10 to 15 years of knowledge of the same pathologies, which we try to condense in half an hour or like 10 minutes appointment for the patients. So there is such a huge gap of understanding, and I think AI can definitely bridge that for us and will be very helpful. Let's see how it goes in future. Talking about future, how do you feel and think AI will shape clinical decision making in the next 5 to 10 years?
I think the first thing to say is it already is.
Yeah,
These systems are being used by clinicians every day, whether they're supposed to or not, whether they're not meant to use it. It's definitely happening. Patients are using them every day. I've lost count of friends and family that are going on things like ChatGPT and putting in their medical symptoms. So this is definitely happening.
this is the
In
first-hand
terms of
example.
yeah, in terms of where it's going to go,
Yeah,
um, I think there's two perspectives.
mhm,
There's a positive outlook that I
yeah,
see, which is we can have more informed decision making. We can have really helpful decision support where it's
yeah,
needed using
mhm,
AI. We can make more precise, effective decisions, tailoring the right drug to the right patient at the right time. I think
mhm,
that can all improve clinical decision making.
yeah,
But I think there's a cautionary tale here as well, which
Mm-hmm.
is that I do see some negative impact. And what I see from that is if AI is used poorly, we
Mm-hmm.
can entrain bias into decision making that we may or may not be aware of. We can widen healthcare inequity by
Yes.
using AI if we're not careful. So there needs to be caution about how and when it's used. And there's also a really interesting point, I think, about how clinicians think.
Mm-hmm.
And this relates to my experience as a clinician and many others, which is that we do a lot of our thinking when we're writing notes. We're synthesizing ideas, we're typing out our thoughts, we're bringing something coherent together. That
Yeah.
is analysis. It's thinking, it's using clinical acumen in note taking. Now, if you told me that there was going to be an AI system in the background
Mm-hmm.
listening in on my patient consultation, drafting the note, and all I had to do was review it, make sure that it sounded okay,
Mm-hmm.
I initially would go, oh, that's great. Less work for me. But
Yeah.
what happens to that thinking process? What happens to that clinical acumen of synthesizing ideas? Will we be less good at the analysis part of our job if it's happening for us? And I think that leads us towards a little caution over what is the right application and how do we enhance clinical cognition rather than take away the wrong aspects in pursuit of efficiency. So cautionary tale there, but I think there's a lot of reason to be optimistic as well.
I think you have raised some serious clinical points, and these are very crucial for the success of AI as well in terms of technology and how it can help clinicians in daily day-to-day routine activities, which they do actually. And so as it is important for patients also, how it's going to help patients in terms of enhanced patient experiences also. Definitely, I
Mm-hmm.
think these are great insights coming from real-time experience. Now, what role do you think global collaboration will play in future of clinical AI?
So this is a favorite topic of
Yeah.
mine because I'm very
Uh-huh.
passionate about global health and
Okay, let's
making
hear it.
sure that AI leads us towards a more equitable future.
Uh-huh.
Um, so on that,
Yeah.
I mean, I think most people would recognize that the current state of healthcare in the world is atrocious globally. And
Can't
by
agree
that
more.
I mean why well, yeah, so why if you are under 5 do you have a 13 times higher chance of dying if you're born in a low income country than if you're born somewhere in Western Europe?
Right.
That's unfair.
That
That's
doesn't make sense.
inequitable.
Yeah.
So how can we prevent that getting worse?
Mm-hmm.
That's about using diverse training data for AI. It's about involving people with firsthand expertise in regions of interest in developing those AI systems. It's about global collaboration to make sure that AI is developed according to standards that apply globally rather than a race to the bottom in one particular area. And it's about resource pooling so that everyone can benefit, not just people with lots of IT infrastructure. So, how do we make healthcare globally more equitable? That's about global partnership. It's about international collaboration and it's about diversity. So, I think by bringing that in and making conscious efforts to be inclusive and representative, then we can make healthcare work for everyone using AI rather than just Western populations who are predominantly white. I don't think that makes sense. So that's my goal. That's what I hope to work on, and hopefully others will too.
Well, these are very beautiful words. I think I can't catch them out, as a clinician having global diverse experience. I also feel the same way and have quite similar thoughts on this topic. Having worked in underserved or let's say underdeveloped countries, and also in Western countries, there is huge disparity. And I think your words are like diamond, basically. People working in terms of our corporate colleagues and who are our listeners today should listen these words very carefully so that global partnerships can be enhanced, so that everybody and whole of the human race can benefit out of it, uh, which actually
Absolutely.
it should
Yeah.
be like that. And hopefully, AI may be able to decrease the global disparities in healthcare. Wonderful. Thanks, Dr. Parsons. It was great interview. I hope our listeners will love and take great insights from your real-time clinical experience and insights on AI. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Of course, it was a pleasure. Thanks for the conversation.
Pleasure as well. Thank you. Have a great time. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.